So we're in Vesak season. The new moon passed maybe, I don't know, a week or so ago. The full moon will happen this coming Friday, about 6 days from now. And then we'll have our Vesak celebration on Saturday, the next day. And so I have my mind on topics related to the full moon of May, the birth of Prince Siddhartha, the enlightenment of the awakened one, and his parinibbana, and various incidents surrounding that. So here is a little known to Americans usually, little known incident that happened not right after, but not very long after the Buddha's awakening. Part of that whole story of his awakening. So the Buddha had his awakening, and then for 49 days he sat under various trees in the bliss of Nibbana. Then the Sahampati Brahma went to him and appealed to the Buddha to please teach what he had found. Then the Buddha looked around with his vision to see who could benefit, decided to go track down the 5 ascetics who had been his former companions. When he was on the way, on the road there, he ran into somebody. And that man was kind of an ascetic practitioner. And his name was Upaka. No, I'm sorry. His name was, Upaka. And and so they have a little interaction that does not persuade him. And he goes on and continues with his life. And in his old age, he remembers, at that point has heard about the Buddha's successes, and goes and tracks down the Buddha and becomes a monk. But this encounter he had, I'm going to go into that, and then I'm going to talk about a bit about his life after that. So according to the Vinaya, so Upaka, a naked ascetic, that is a Ajivika, saw the Lord going along the high road between Gaya and the Bodhi tree. So on the way to find the 5 ascetics. And seeing him, he spoke thus to the Lord: Your reverence, your sense organs are quite pure, your complexion very bright, very clear. On account of whom have you, your reverence, gone forth? Or who is your teacher? Or whose Dhamma do you profess? When this had been said, the Lord addressed Upaka, the naked ascetic, in verses. Victorious over all, omniscient am I, among all things undefiled, leaving all through death of craving freed. By knowing for myself, whom should I follow? For me, there is no teacher. One like me does not exist. In the world with its devas, no one equals me. For I am perfected in the world. The teacher supreme am I. I alone am all awakened. Become cool am I. Nirvana attained. To turn the Dhamma wheel, I go to Kasi's city, beating the drum of deathlessness in a world that's blind become. And then Upaka says, according to what you claim, your reverence, you ought to be victor of the unending. So people have different ways of interpreting his words, whether he's admiring the Buddha or speaking skeptically. But this translator goes with more skeptical idea. The Buddha answers, like me, they are invictors indeed, who have won to destruction of the cankers. The vanquished by me are evil things. Therefore am I, Upaka, a victor. When this had been said, Upaka, the naked ascetic, having said, it may be so, your reverence, having shaken his head, went off taking a different road. So the next sentence in the Vinaya is that then the Lord in due course approached Benares to the deer park and met up with the 5 ascetics. Okay, so there's some speculation that the way the Buddha approached the 5 ascetics was quite different than how he approached Upaka. He just came right out and said truth. Hey, I'm the one who has no teacher. I'm the one who figured it out. There he is, young. He's young, as they put it in the scripture, with dark hair. And youth in spiritual matters was not respected. in that culture in those days. The respect and reverence for holy man kind of depended in part in his being old. In youth, in in the mainstream idea of a religious practitioner, youth was spent in lay life and building up a family and wealth and all that, and then eventually renouncing it in old age, and then becoming a religious practitioner in older age. So here he is young and he's claiming all this and he has no following. I mean, it was pretty sketchy, frankly. And so Upaka goes off by 8 different roads. Oh, and so the speculation is that when the Buddha sat down with the 5 ascetics, he did not speak like that. He simply informed them that he had found the deathless and that they can too. And still they resisted him, but eventually they had to acknowledge to him when he asked directly that he had never spoken like that to them before, that he had found the deathless and that they too could find it if they listened to him. And so then they put aside their prejudice against him and listened to the Dhamma and benefited. Okay, so Upaka went on and he came across, according to tradition, Upaka came across a beautiful, beautiful young woman who was in a family of hunters. And he was so completely smitten by her beauty, her form, her gorgeousness. He gave up to his begging bowl. He gave up any pretense, if it was a pretense of a holy life. And he becomes a member of a family of hunters. He doesn't hunt himself, but he's doing the menial stuff. The wife does not respect him. He's not out of a hunting family. He's not a hunter. He's not an accomplished one. He's just doing, errand boy level of work in the family. And so she mocks him. She's very brutal. She's actually quite cruel. And so here are, I'm sorry, I'm going to look it up in a couple of books here. Let's see. It's number, I think that's 58. Roman numeral LXV triple I. Is it? Okay, so according to the commentary, okay, some details I'd forgotten. Okay, so when he left the Buddha, Upaka, no, is that his name? Upaka. Yeah, Upaka came to the Vankahara country and abode near the hamlet of the trappers, the deer hunters, where the head trapper supplied his needs as an ascetic. One day, the trapper, setting off on a long hunt with sons and brothers, bade his daughter to not neglect the quote-unquote arahant, the holy man, in his absence. The girl was of great beauty, and Upaka, seeking alms at her home, captivated by her beauty, couldn't eat, took his food home and lay down fasting, vowing he would die if he couldn't win this girl, Chapa. After 7 days, the father returned on inquiring for his so-called arahant, heard he'd not come again after the first day. The trapper sought him, and Upaka, moaning and rolling over, confessed his lovesick plight. The trapper asked if he knew any handicraft, and he answered no, but offered to fetch their game and sell it. The trapper consented, and giving him a coat, instead of ascetic robes, brought him to his own home and gave him his daughter. In due time, she had a son, whom they called Subhadda. Chapa, when the baby cried, would sing to him, kind of rock him and sing to him, a song of Upaka's boy, ascetic's boy, game dealer's boy, don't cry, mocking her husband. And he said it, so she's making fun of him, right? And at length he said, do not thou, Chapa, fancy that I have none to protect me. I have a friend, even a conqueror eternal, and to him I will go. She could see that he was ticked off. He was vexed, but she teased him again and again the same way, until one day in anger he got ready to go. She said much to prevent him, but to not. Okay, so here we pick up the poetry. And I am going to, hang on, I've got more than one version here. I'm just going to stick with this one here. Hang on, 290. In the past, wasn't it me who carried an ascetic's staff? Upaka said. Now I am a deer hunter, unable to get out of this foul mud and reach the other shore because of desire. Confident that I would remain infatuated, that is, infatuated with her, my wife gave all her attention to our son to make him happy. But once I cut my tie to her, I will renounce again. Chapa, please don't be angry with me, big man, great sage, don't get mad. There's no purity of mind for one overcome by anger. From where will self-control come? The husband, I will leave Nala. Who can live here in Nala? Virtuous ascetics get trapped by the physical beauties of women. Come here, good looking, she says. Just stay. Enjoy whatever you want, like you used to do with me. I'll be at your command. So are my relatives. Chapa, if there were only 1/4 of what you just said, if there were true, only 1/4 of what you just said, that'd be more than enough for any man who's in love with you. And the lady, good looking, that body of yours is like a tree on top of a mountain, gorgeous in full bloom. It's like a blooming dalima vine, or like a patali tree standing up straight in the middle of an island. If you go, leaving me behind, who will physically enjoy this body of mine, adorned with sandalwood and covered with the best cloths from Kasi? The husband, you want to catch me, like the fowler with his snares for birds. You will not trap me with your fetching body. And good looking, what about this child, she says, born because of you? Who are you leaving when you leave me? The one who has this child. The husband, those who are wise leave behind children, relatives, and wealth. Great ascetics renounce the world, like an elephant breaking its tether. The wife, I shall knock this son of yours flat to the ground, use a stick or a knife on him, and then for grief for the child you won't go. The husband, even if you gave that child to jackals or dogs, you will not make me turn around, you wretched baby maker. Whew. So she realizes it's over. So she gives in and she changes her tune. Good luck to you then, good looking. But where will you go? To what village or town? To what city or capital? The husband, once I was a leader of others, all proud that we were ascetics, even when we really weren't. We went from town to cities and to the capital. The Lord, the Buddha, is near right by the Naranjara River, where he's teaching the Dhamma that leads to the ending of all suffering for all beings. I will go to where he is, and he will be my teacher. You too should speak praise about the Supreme Lord of the world, and you too should honor him by circling around him and give him the gift, that he is due. This is what is possible for us. Say it is so for both you and me. The wife, I too shall speak praise about the Supreme Lord of the world, and having honored him by circumambulating, I will give him the gift that is due. Another translation says, please, in my name, give him this gift. And he's very pleased that she understands and is sending a gift with him. And so her handsome husband left for the Naranjara River, where he saw the Buddha preaching about the deathless place that is as sweet as nectar, about suffering and its arising, about the overcoming of suffering and the Noble Eightfold Path that ends with suffering ended. Picking up this story again from the commentary. Hang on. Okay, the husband set out westward, and the Exalted One was then at Savatihi in the Jeta Grove and announced this to his brethren. He who today shall come asking, where is the conqueror eternal? Send him to me. And Upaka arrived, and standing in the midst of the Vihara, asked, where is the conqueror eternal? So they brought him, and when he saw the Exalted One, he said, dost thou know me, Exalted One? The Buddha answered, yes, I know. But you, where have you spent this time? Upaka answers, in the Vankahara country, Lord. And the Buddha asks, this is according to commentary, Upaka, you're now an old man. Can you bear the religious life? He answers, I will enter thereon, Lord. The master bade a certain bhikkhu, come, do you, bhikkhu, ordain him. Let's see. Okay. So the poem for here says, having worshipped his feet and circumambulated the Buddha, he dedicated the merit to Chata and went forth to the homeless state. He knows the three things that most don't know. So he's developed the three knowledges. What the Buddha taught is done. Okay, so after his ordination, thereafter exercising and training himself was soon established in the fruition and the path of no return. And thereupon he died and was reborn in the Aviha heavens. At the moment of that rebirth, he attained arahantship. But the wife, Chapa, sick at heart over his departure, gave her boy to his grandfather, and following the way Upaka had gone, she renounced the world at Savatthi and attained arahantship. And uniting Upaka's verses with her own, she thus exalted. And so that is the story. So all that back and forth, that whole play-like script between the wife and the husband, those are actually the poems of one of the great elder bhikkhunis, Chata. So this wife followed the husband, and so he attained to the third stage, and then quickly passed away and went into a heaven world. Not that everyone does that, but that's just what happened with him. Small number do have had it recorded to have happened that way, according to this book. There have been 7 total that have done that. So there've been, according to this, a note in this book, that there were 7 others recorded in the scriptures as having done it that way, that they went to third stage of enlightenment that's where the stage they were in at their passing, and then upon their passing, they went into full arahant state. So this was in the Theravada, because it was the back and forth conversation was part of the bhikkhunis, the former wife's verses. So clearly she also followed the Buddha's teachings, and having followed her husband to his example, going to the Buddha and renouncing, she attained enlightenment herself. So that is just this little story, that this little kind of a side story that most folks around here would not ever heard about. I thought it was a little interesting side note in the bigger picture of the Buddha's awakening.